Are you going through a tragic time in your life, or have you ever hit hard times and found it hard to stay productive? We're talking about how you can stay on track in today's episode. We'll see you on the inside. What's going on, guys? This is Mike from the Songwriter's Planner. Thank you for joining me for another episode of the podcast. I can't thank you guys enough. Thank you for tuning in. I hope that these podcasts that I'm putting out are helping inspire you, helping you stay on track of the things that you want to accomplish with your music and your art. That would mean the most to me. That's what these are for, to hopefully help you answer some questions or, provide some value to you. And if this is the first time you're joining me, thank you. I really hope that you dig this podcast and the others. Please feel free to check the library of podcasts that I have out. I really appreciate it, and thanks a lot, guys. Today's podcast, I had some second thoughts about doing an episode on this. I know I say that in front of every episode, but today's podcast was something that I wanted to talk about because it really hits home to me. And my goal with these podcasts is to be completely upfront and honest with you guys. If you're taking the time to listen to these podcasts, then I want to take the time to be honest with you and give you my best. And the theme of today's podcast is dealing with tragedy in your life. Say you have something happen, whether it be you lost a job or you lost a family member or a loved one, passed away, an auntie, an uncle, a father, mother, or you lost a relationship. Things like that happen in life, and they can really traumatize you and really polarize how you feel and make you question your whole life. And that's what these challenges do to you, whether you ask for them or whether you knew you saw them coming or whether you didn't see them coming. The effect is still the same, and it can be really, really challenging to stay productive and on track. Not just productive, but stay on track to keep things so that you don't fly off the rails. And I thought it was really important because as artists, we are really sensitive to who we are, and we're really sensitive to other people. And in these kinds of events, when they happen in life, are prone to stop you dead in your tracks. Now, there's two sides to this coin when something bad happens in your life. This can either help fuel your creativity and fuel your creative side, and just basically bring it out of you. That happens to a lot of artists. It's happened to me before. And it can just, it can really, really, really push your creativity levels. Feeling happy, extreme amounts of joy, feeling extreme amounts of depression. These are things that traditionally bring out creativity in artists. Now, that's one side of the coin, okay? The other side of the coin is that it can completely debilitate you, and it can completely suck you dry of any kind of creativity. You may not even feel like picking up an instrument or feel like turning on the laptop or anything like that. And that scenario, I completely understand too. Both of these situations are normal for artists. They're completely normal for us, and that's just how we function. There is no systematic recipe for creating art and creating music. It either happens with you or it doesn't. And when things in your life happen to you that you either weren't planning or were, this can directly affect your creativity. And I understand that as a creative person myself, and I'm sure you do too. And what all that means is that this podcast, let me go step back a little bit. And let me just say that this podcast is not about how can you write songs when you are severely depressed. Okay, that is not what this podcast is about. The creative side of things, I've always felt, are kind of on autopilot. You can't force it. You can't force creativity. You can't force art. You can't force your music to happen. That happens everybody has their own frequency on when that happens. What I wanted to talk about today on today's podcast is how do you stay productive in the rest of your life, the things that you need to get done, the things that you want to maintain and keep going to make sure people find out who you are as a musician, who is as an artist. And that is social media, that is getting out, that is updating your website and your email newsletters. And if you do YouTube channels, if you do videos on there, how do you just keep doing this stuff? Because it's so important to stay consistent with your content as an artist, that sometimes when tragedy strikes, it's so difficult to do that. And that's what I'm talking about today. So there's two aspects of it. There's the creative side, and there's the side where you don't want to stop momentum. You don't want to stop advertising your shows. You don't want to stop making flyers. You don't want to stop reaching out to booking agents or reaching out to clubs to play shows. And having something tragic in your life can really affect your motivation to do those things. And that's what I wanted to address today. I wanted to address those things. So before we get into that, I will share with you what I have been going through these past many weeks. I recently experienced a breakup in my life, and it was a relationship that ended a total of 6 years, and it was not planned. It was not planned for me, and I will honestly say it has shaken me to my core. I have had experienced things that I've like anxiety and things like that I've never really felt before. And it's been really debilitating for me as someone who is creative and someone who is I consider myself very productive, with podcasting, keeping up with my creative projects. I do YouTube videos all the time. I mean, I consider myself a very productive person. That's what I preach. I got to admit, man, this has been really, really difficult. It's been really difficult for me to stay on top of things. The kind of feelings that I've experienced over these past many weeks is severe doubt on what the heck am I doing? Why am I doing this? When that goes around for everything, even up to the Songwriter's Planner. Depression, just not feeling like I want to do anything. Not feeling like I want to hang out and be seen by people, feeling unworthy, huge amounts of unworthiness, which is, tough to deal with, and feeling very unmotivated to do anything. And it really took me a lot of thinking and a lot of courage to plan out this particular podcast, because I knew I was going to be talking about this today. But just in general, being productive and getting things done for the Songwriter's Planner and getting things done for my creative projects, it's been a real challenge. Now, for me, that was my experience, a personal relationship ending. You can feel these things on many levels. You could feel like this when your pet dies. I mean, let's be honest here. That is a tragic thing. Pets are like family members, and especially if they've been in your life for a long time, you can feel the same way. The death of a relative or a loved one, that's probably one that we all fear. Losing someone very close to you can harness these types of feelings and pull this out of you as well. Loss of, like I was saying earlier, loss of a job, losing your job is also can be debilitating, because it's so unstable. You just have this feeling of unstableness that you're so used to. So all these things can trigger these kinds of depressive feelings and demotivating feelings. And I have been feeling them heavily over these past weeks. And I'm really proud that I've been able to stay on top of the podcasting, stay on top of the social media, stay on top of it as much as I can. And I just wanted to share with you guys out there the things that I've been doing to help me stay motivated, to keep going even when times are hard. It is not the easiest thing to do, and more times than not, you don't feel like doing anything other than feeling sorry for yourself, being sad, being confused, all these things. That's what you feel like doing. But the reality is, if we want to make progress in our dreams and our goals and our music, we have to put in the work to do it. And if we stop doing it, then that progress slows down. And it could lead to you slowing down overall and just giving up altogether. And we don't want that. We don't want that, because there are ways to get around challenging times. And I'm going to share a couple things with you guys, and hopefully this works for you, and hopefully you find some value in this. And if you are going through a challenging time, I welcome you to listen to these ideas and just keep an open mind. And I hope that they help you. That is the most that I could ever wish for, is that my plight and my knowledge and tactics that I've been using, help you. And, as always, I welcome feedback the other way too, from you to me. Please feel free to hit me up on Facebook, etc., and share your ideas. Okay. So the one thing that I've really tried to do during this period is just to keep planning ahead. Stay on top of your schedule. Keep opening your calendar. Keep using your phone, whatever you use. Stay on top of the calendar. Always look out. Keep looking out, even though you don't feel like it. You feel like, you don't even feel like looking ahead. Just keep doing that. Look at the next couple days in front of you. See what you would normally be doing if you were not going through these challenging times. And you know what? Write them down. Write them down. This is what I would normally be doing. I would normally be rehearsing, band rehearsal, whatever. I would normally be going to guitar lessons. I would normally be working on some new song ideas. Just keep planning ahead. Don't stop doing that, because if you stop doing that, you stop losing momentum forward of the things that you're working on. And I know it can be hard because you don't feel like being optimistic. Looking ahead means to be optimistic most of the time when it comes to your music. And when we're feeling down and we're feeling depleted, looking ahead and being optimistic is really hard. But that is one of the things that I've been trying to do to stay on top of my productivity, is keep the calendar updated. Don't stop doing that, because if you can just continue to keep your schedule going, then you'll be making progress. You'll still be making progress. And that is the best thing, one of the best things you can do, is just continue to look ahead, look forward. It's super important. Okay. The next thing that I've been trying to do is to stay very flexible. And that means if you are unable to get to the task or the stuff that you wanted to do, or the goals, I should say, that you wanted to accomplish for the week, even if it's one goal, if you just feel like you can't do it, stay flexible, move it to another day, move it to another time. It's important to remember that in times of tragedy, staying rigid and staying completely on track is really difficult and really hard. And the more you try to do it, when you don't feel like doing it, it could really add to stress that you have. And you don't want to add to any more stress than what you're already taking on. So remembering to be flexible, and that also means to forgive yourself and say, you know what? I didn't get this thing done. I wanted to. That's okay. I will do it next time, and I'll reschedule it, and I will get it done then. Just give yourself some leeway to get things done. Now, I'm not saying keep putting things off and putting things off. You don't want to do that. But you definitely want to keep an eye on the fact that you are struggling right now and you're going through challenging times. So your productivity is not going to be at the level that it usually is. If you can be, and you can handle that kind of stress, or if it helps you to stay busy, then even better. I would really recommend whatever works for you. Everybody's different, right? So that's another thing, is just to remember to stay flexible and don't hold yourself to the normal accountable levels that you normally would, until you feel like you can do it. And who knows how long that'll take. It's different for everybody, but you'll know when you get there. You'll know when you are ready to take on the regular goals that you set for yourself and get back into the swing of it. Okay. And another thing is to continue to stay active. Pick up your instrument, reach out to family and friends, reach out to friends who you play music with. I've been doing that. I've been staying active with my creative partners, and it's really helped me because they've really supported me, not just because they're guys I play music with or people I play music with, but because they are true, genuine friends to me. And it's music that brings us together. They are very supportive. I've found it to be really supportive, and you might find that as well. Reaching out to people who you can trust and who are there for you, especially if you play music with them, is really, really important. And just staying active. Stay active. Get out there. Just keep doing what you're doing. Don't lock yourself in a room and refuse to see anybody and refuse to see people. Maybe for some people that works. I can tell you right now, probably for the majority of us, it doesn't. At some point, you're going to have your friends knocking at your door going, where are you? Where are you okay? You're going to have people worrying about you. So just stay active. I've been trying to do that, and I can say it is challenging, but I'm working on it. And I really feel that it has helped me overcome, or at least make me feel like I got my feet back, just a little bit. Even if it's just a little bit, that's all you need. And again, I hope that piece of advice helps you out there if you are going through some challenging times. And the last thing I wanted to talk about was just don't get down on yourself, and don't let yourself fall behind. And when I say that, I mean don't let yourself. Really, what I mean is give up and feel like you're done. Don't stop producing the content. Don't stop reaching out to people. Don't stop telling people that your music is out there. Okay, on social media, echoing that on social media. Don't stop reaching out to people. Like I mentioned earlier, the creative side is one thing, but being productive is another. And getting people to hear your music, no matter what's going on in your life, is super important. Don't stop doing that, because if you're like me and you're like most musicians and artists out there, you do everything yourself. We do everything ourselves. And if you stop doing it, it's not going to get done. I'm pretty sure, like, if you stop doing your social media and you stop reaching out and you stop emailing people and you stop making flyers, it's not going to get done, because that's the reality of our world as artists, is that we have to do all these things. And when you take a hit, like something tragic happening in your life, I know how hard it is to stay on top of it. I mean, I've been struggling as well, like I said earlier, but doing things like this, like staying on top of my podcast schedule, was really important to me, even when I'm struggling to find what to say. Even now, I'm looking at the camera and I'm going, what the hell am I going to say that is going to matter to anybody? But the reality of it is that I have faith in that this will hopefully connect with someone else who's going through a tragic time. And whether you find this podcast when I release it, or whether you come across this podcast months or years from now, I feel like it's helping me get this out of me, number one, and hopefully helping you, the viewer and the listener, at some point in your life, to hang in there. Don't stop doing the things that you need to do to get your music heard. If you have a creative aspect to your life now and it's been kicked into overdrive because of this situation you're in, then that's great. If you've hit a complete writer's block, don't worry about it. Just stay active. Just keep going out there and be social online and in person. Okay? Don't give up. Don't give up. And remember why you're an artist. Remember why you're a musician. Remember your love for music. One thing I've been doing is I've been going back and listening to a lot of music that has inspired me over the years, and stuff that I haven't heard in years. I've just forgot about. I've been going back and listening to this music that helped me define why I wanted to be an artist and why I wanted to be a musician. That has really helped me. I've invested myself back into music, into reconnecting with that artistic side that I may have put on the back burner for a while. And it's really been helping me, always going back to music. I mean, that's why we do it, right? So those are just some things that I wanted to shout out on this week's podcast. This is probably one of the most difficult podcasts I've ever had to do. I will be honest with you, but I am glad that I've done it. And I'm glad that I got to share this stuff with you guys, because life happens, and it's important for us to remember that doesn't mean that we have to stop being productive and do the things that we want to do to reach our goals. It doesn't have to stop. It takes a lot of work and a lot of energy to get it done. But at the end of the day, you'll feel good about yourself and staying on top of your scheduling and staying on top of the tasks that you do and staying on top of working towards accomplishing your goals. Okay. So, all right, guys, that is today's podcast. I hope you got something out of it, and I hope you enjoyed listening to this podcast and all of the other podcasts that I have online. Again, if you get a chance, check out the Songwriter's Planner at songwritersplanner.com. And hopefully that is something, if you're interested in it, hopefully that's a tool that you think you can use to help you be more productive as a musician or / artist. All right, guys. Till the next podcast, we'll see you later. Peace.